Hello everyone, my name is Miss Carla Garcia Correa, and today, friends, we're going to be discussing what is matter and the states of matter, okay? So we already know what matter is. Matter is known as what is mass. It's what takes space in everything. For our lesson objectives, students will be able to define on what matter is at the end of the lesson. Okay, so you guys will be learning that everything that is filled with mass takes up space, and you'll be able to name and explain that the three most frequent states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. Okay, and you will also be able to classify a few things as well, such as ice, water, and air in a balloon. Okay, and you'll be able to separate those into the categories of solid, liquid, or gas. Okay, friends, so during our activity and lesson, remember how we read What is the World Made of by Zoe Feld? Okay, so in the book we understood we discussed of what the world is made of, right? Okay, so during our lesson, I'll be giving you some chart paper, and you'll be using markers in order to record during our activity. Okay, and you'll also be getting into group, and you'll be given a set of everyday objects or pictures. So such as you're going to be receiving ice cube, rock, water in a cup, juice, balloon, a sponge, and air within an empty bottle. Okay. You'll also be using index cards for you guys to write or draw your classifications during the activity. Okay? All right. And if by any chance you would like for me to warm up your water, you'll be also receiving a cup of warm water in order to show visible vapor. So we can't really have hot things during this activity. So we'll be receiving a cup of warm water. Okay? You'll also be receiving masking labels. Okay? So I'll be giving you paper in order for you guys to create the labels. Okay? Make these labels fun. I want you guys to label the labels solid, liquid, and gas. Okay, so at your tables, you're each gonna put those labels. Okay, so make sure to separate those. Okay, and remember that we need to have our science notebooks, okay, in order to record our observations during the lesson. Okay, so we'll begin our lesson. So what is matter? We know that matter is anything that takes up space and has mass, and it is known as matter. Okay, so friends, today we're going to be learning about the official three states of matter: solids, liquids, and gases. So we're going to be taking some look at some real examples. Okay, so today we're going to start with an example of a piece of ice. Okay, so I want you guys to take that piece of ice and feel it. Okay, you might notice it's cold and hard, right? Okay, the piece of ice is considered a solid because it keeps its shape within that piece of ice. But even though when we move it around, we touch it with our fingers, we rub it, okay? But then we know that piece of ice will turn into our next state of matter. Okay, so I want you to take a look at your cup of water in front of you. Okay, you notice how it moves around the inside of the cup. Okay. Water is known as a liquid, okay, because water flows and it takes shape of whatever container it is in, okay? All right, and then you guys also have a balloon that is we previously filled up by blowing into it. That balloon is filled with air, okay? The air inside is known as a gas. Gases are known to spread out and fill out the shape around them, okay? And that's why the balloon that you guys are holding is nice and puffy, okay? So I want you guys to also watch once each one of you drops that ice, okay, into your cup of water. I want you guys to take a look and watch as the ice melts, okay? Take some notes on what do you notice. Does it change from a solid to a liquid, okay? So you're going to be using your eyes and hands so we can observe on how matter changes and behaves. So remember, okay, solids keep their shape, liquids flow and take the space of their container, and gases spread out to fit the space that they're in. Okay, so we're going to be seeing these changes around us all today. Okay, all right, okay. Then we also are going to move on with some other items that you have in front of you, such as the rock, the cup of water, a balloon, and some oil. Okay, so I want you guys to carefully take some time to think about each one. Okay, I want you guys to ask yourselves: do these items keep its shape, or does it change? Okay, do the items change? Can the items in front of you flow and be poured into something? Can we see or feel it easily? Okay, are you able to feel its texture? Are you feel how the way it tastes? Are you feel way it feels within your hands? Okay, and on your index card, I want you guys to record and write what state of matter you think each object is. Okay, so whether that is a solid, liquid, or gas. Okay, and I want you guys to explain why you think that each object is in that state of matter. Okay, then I'm going to be writing are your answers on the board so we can compare, each of us compare ideas. Okay, so remember, friends, okay, I want you guys to observe, ask questions, and also share your ideas. Okay, so we're going to be working together and to use what we already know in order to classify each item and understand how matter works. Okay, all right. So I want you guys to take that rock, cup of water, a balloon, and the cup of oil. And I want you guys to also write down the characteristics, okay, that you see from those items, okay? Does it hold shape? Does it flow? Okay? Does it feel hard? Does it feel wet? Okay? I want you guys to tell me, take some time and think about it, okay? Think about what these items can do. Okay? All right? Right. So we've already taken some time to look at the oil, rock, water, and ice. Okay, so now I want you guys to take some time to think and explore. Okay, each one of you are going to get some picture cards, okay, with different items. Okay, each picture is going to hold something different. Okay, so for example, my first group, they're holding items such as juice, ice cream, a balloon, and a rock. Okay, you guys are going to figure out whether each item is a solid, liquid, or gas, all on your own. Okay, then on the back of each card, okay, I want you guys to write what you think and tell me why you think, okay, this item is in that category. Okay, ask yourself these questions: does the item in front of me flow or move around easily? Does the item have a shape? Does it take place? Okay, I'm going to be walking around to help you guys as you work, okay? And remember, this is your chance to show me how you, my dear scientists, can use your observations and thinking skills to classify materials in our world, okay? So I want you guys to see how well you can sort and explain the 3 states of matter, okay? I also understand that today not everyone learns in the same way, okay? So I'm going to be making sure that every individual experience, individual within our class has a successful engagement, okay? So for my friends who are my Spanish-speaking friends, you guys will be reading, having some bilingual, vocabulary cards and cards during the activity, okay? All right? Also for my Creole speakers, I'll be providing the picture cards within Creole language, okay? I also understand that reading can be hard, friends. Okay, so those of you who struggle with reading, I'm going to be giving color-coded visuals, okay? So those friends who are having a little trouble with this lesson, we're going to be going into my group, okay? And I'm going to be helping you guys, seeing how you guys can organize your objects, okay? You guys are going to be telling me how to grasp the concepts of solids, liquids, and gases, okay? All right? Okay. Thank you so much for joining me for my lesson, okay? For this lesson, I was focused on the ways to incorporate visual and hands-on learning through the use of materials in age-appropriate texts. And while preparing this lesson, I aim to present science in a more engaging and visual form for young learners. I also chose this topic because based on the scientific principle of matter, which is foundational in the discipline and relevant to our learners, our everyday learners as of their experiences. And I found it really challenging on how to manage time allocated for reading, discussion, and hands-on activities, okay? For the next MicroTeach, I'll plan out on how to retain the interactive hands-on activities, okay, and demonstration and guided discussion, but now, and I'll also be able to focus on improving the transitions and pacing ahead, okay? In the end, I believe the lesson has successfully integrated observation, participation, and enjoyment for my students while achieving the second grade science learning objectives set in the Florida BEST standards. Thank you so much for watching my lesson. I hope you guys have a great day.